Will South Korea send lethal aid to Ukraine? How far does $400 million worth of aid go? And why is QAnon picking up Kremlin-manufactured conspiracy theories? This is week 139 of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. I'm Anna Belokur, reporting to you from Kyiv, and I'll be taking you through the top 3 stories from Ukraine this week. On Wednesday, the United States confirmed the presence of North Korean troops in Russia. The North Korean troops have been sent to multiple military sites in eastern Russia, and Seoul claims that among those sent are North Korean pilots capable of flying Russian fighter jets. On Thursday, Ukrainian intelligence reported that the first batch of North Korean troops has been deployed to Russia's Kursk Oblast, partially under control by Ukraine, where they're expected to be sent to combat zones within days. Pyongyang continues to deny outright that its troops are in Russia. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko also denied the claims and said that if they were true, they would signal a significant escalation of the war. China, a more quiet but still consistent ally of Russia, said on Thursday that they weren't aware of the presence of any North Korean troops in Russia. Vladimir Putin, however, did allude to the troops being in Russia in comments to foreign journalists late on Thursday, when he mentioned a mutual defense clause in Russia and North Korea's new security treaty. When asked about the photographic evidence of North Korean troops in or in transit to Russia, Putin said, "Images are a serious thing. If there are images, they reflect something." The chairman of the U.S. Select Committee on Intelligence said on Wednesday that the U.S. should consider taking direct military action against any North Korean troops who enter into the conflict on Russia's behalf, the same day that the White House said that they consider any such troops fair game for the Ukrainian military. Although these condemnatory statements haven't been uncommon in the last week, most of Ukraine's allies have thus far been slow to give firm answers about the degree to which this development escalates the conflict and how much responsibility they have to respond to it. One aspect of this story that we didn't talk about last week was the potential ways it could change South Korea's position on the war. On Thursday, the president of South Korea said that the country might review its ban on sending lethal weapons to Ukraine as a reaction to North Korea's involvement. Up until now, South Korea has had a ban on sending weapons to places with existing active combat, and has thus far only directly supplied Ukraine with non-lethal and humanitarian aid. But this isn't the first time they've hinted that they might change this stance if North Korea gets more involved in Russia's invasion. However, experts say that these hints may be just that, hints, intended to make a diplomatic statement, rather than actually indicating that South Korea will start sending lethal aid, something that would require not just changes to policy, but changes to existing laws against it. What seems more likely is that Seoul will increase its support to Ukraine via indirect routes, as it's already been doing by providing artillery shells via the United States. Pentagon Chief Lloyd Austin made a surprise visit to Kyiv this week, announcing a $400 million defense package for Ukraine that includes HIMARS artillery systems, ammunition, and more. Austin vowed that the U.S. is still supporting Ukraine in its fight, amid worries that the fast-approaching presidential election could disrupt future aid. This was likely the last time Austin will visit Kyiv as Pentagon Chief, and it all but confirms that the Biden administration isn't planning to lift restrictions on the use of Western-made long-range weapons for strikes deep inside of Russia in the final days before a new president takes over. And Biden's legacy will likely remain one of drip-feeding Ukraine aid at a pace insufficient to let Ukraine properly fight back and allowing Russia to grind westward. Politico reported this week that at least 7 countries, the US among them, are reluctant to extend an invitation for Ukraine to join NATO, something that was explicitly required by Zelensky's victory plan as a crucial component of ending the war on anything resembling fair terms. The other countries standing against Ukraine's NATO bid are Germany, which has said outright that membership is off the table as long as Ukraine is at war. Belgium, Spain, and Slovenia, which haven't expressed disapproval of the idea publicly, are expected to do so if the process reaches more concrete stages. And then we have Hungary and Slovakia, which are both pretty outwardly friendly with Russia. Slovakia's president said on Thursday that it's simply not realistic to expect an immediate accession for Ukraine. Although even top-level NATO representatives continue to refer to Ukraine's NATO membership as inevitable, it's clearly not going to be immediate. Zelensky's victory plan, which claimed to be a roadmap for ending the war in 2025, called for an invitation to become a member within months, not years. And it's not known what Ukraine's plan B is if the victory plan can't be implemented, particularly given the uncertainty surrounding the upcoming US election. At the Kyiv Independent, we're proud to be reader-funded, but we need your support. It's our community of 12,000 members, the majority of whom give $5 per month, who we rely on for stable funding, despite the instability of living through war. It's these contributions that allow us to send our reporters to the front line, to pay our salaries, and to fund projects like our War Crimes Investigations Unit. When you choose to support the Kyiv Independent with even a few dollars, this makes a huge difference for us. We wouldn't be here without readers like you. To support us, please visit the link in the description below. A viral disinformation campaign targeting Democratic vice presidential nominee Tim Walz has been traced back to the Kremlin, just one of many proven instances of the Russian government attempting to influence foreign elections. U.S. intelligence officials say that the content in question, a video in which an actor made false allegations against Walz, was created and spread by Russia, and then picked up by QAnon and other alt-right groups on social media.
I'll now share my story, because this happened to me too. Well, in my case, it was my teacher, Tim Walz.
The allegations made in the video were investigated and debunked by multiple sources, and the video's format and distribution were noted to be in line with the tactics used by the Storm 1516 propaganda operation, in which Russia plants fake whistleblower-type content about foreign politicians with the goal of both damaging their reputation among people who believe the content and undermining the entire democratic system as a whole by spreading the belief that real and fake information are all but indistinguishable. A similar campaign went viral last month when a fake video claimed to implicate Vice President Kamala Harris in a decade-old hit-and-run crime.
I remember I was laying on the side of the road watching the woman who hit me. And of course, back then, I didn't know that it's Kamala Harris, California Attorney General.
This video was also completely debunked and traced back to a Kremlin-aligned Russian troll farm, which had created and distributed the video with the intent to make it go viral among the alt-right on social media. An intelligence officer told NPR that disinformation campaigns and conspiracy stoking by Russia will only intensify in the lead-up to the election and will likely aim to undermine public trust in whatever outcome is declared, in hopes of sowing division amongst Americans. Russia, as well as other antagonistic actors, learned from the 2020 election and its aftermath and are better prepared this time to exploit the emotions and narratives that will emerge among the public in the time between when the polls close on November 5th and when a new president is sworn in January. The Wall Street Journal also reported on Friday that Elon Musk, the owner of X, has been in contact with Russian President Vladimir Putin since late 2022. Although Musk was relatively pro-Ukrainian at the start of the full-scale invasion, going so far as to donate Starlink terminals to the Ukrainian military, he has since shifted to a Russia-sympathetic point of view. Although he's previously denied having a relationship with Moscow and claims to have only spoken with Putin once in 2021 about space exploration, officials both inside and outside of Russia told the Wall Street Journal that Musk has been holding conversations with Putin and other top Kremlin officials for nearly 2 years, coinciding with an increase of disinformation, hate speech, and radical and pro-authoritarian content on X. Okay, so we saw this comment and wanted to let you in on something. There's currently no part of Ukraine that is totally safe to visit. Some regions see much higher frequencies of Russian attacks than others, but all parts of the country are vulnerable to airstrikes, and visiting is a calculated risk to be taken at the traveler's discretion. However, if you're curious about the day-to-day life in Ukraine during war and want to get a feel for if it's something you'd like to see for yourself, we have a special travel series where my colleague Masha shows you around all corners of Ukraine, from the Carpathian Mountains in the west to Kharkiv in the east. We'll include a link to the latest episode of Dare to Ukraine in the description below. That's all for this week. We'll be back next Sunday with more news from Ukraine. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to this channel. If you'd like to become a member of the Kyiv Independent community, please visit the link in the description below. I'll see you next week.